Rangers.
That might have been picked up on the recording, Owen, because we're recording now. Owen was just singing
Oh,
the
that's
Power
right.
Rangers theme song.
Singing the Power Rangers thing. It makes a change from usually singing SpongeBob, but we just thought we'd go with something different.
I
Power
think
Rangers.
every video we should start with you singing a different song.
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah. So you might be at the start of this singing Power Rangers. I don't know how much of it got picked up. Hopefully.
Maybe not enough for people to switch off.
Hopefully not. So today we are reviewing The Thing by John Carpenter's The Thing. And it's no mystery. I love this movie, so we won't beat around the bush. I think this movie is an absolute masterpiece, but we'll dig into exactly why. And we are going to start off with a non-spoiler section, and then we will give a spoiler warning later in the video. But if you have not seen The Thing and you don't want that spoiled, if you know nothing about The Thing somehow, if you're just one of those people, turn this off, go watch The Thing, come back and listen to us chat about it, because it's one of those movies I wish I could watch again knowing absolutely nothing about it, you know?
Yeah.
My guest today is Belfast author extraordinaire Owen Quinn, a man who will infect you the first chance he gets, just like The Thing.
Oh yes, I'm well infected. I have bits in me that don't even belong to me. The kidney transplant arms. It's nice to be back.
Good.
I've of course had a Stranger Things weekend mania like the rest of the world.
Oh
Had a
yes,
great time.
my feed has been full of Stranger Things things.
Lots of insomnia because I watched it at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I watched the first two, and I wanted to watch all four because then I had to go and write 4 reviews for it and then edit it because the person that usually edits them for me hadn't watched it and still hasn't watched it. He's watched the first 2 or 3, I think, but I haven't watched all four, so I can't even let him near the site. But everything's done and dusted, and I really enjoyed Stranger Things, and it pulled the rug out from under us
Awesome.
big time. That was really, really good.
Awesome. We must have a chat about that sometime. So
Well, I was going to say, I'll tell you what, we should do that. Pick an episode of Stranger Things,
yeah,
or even
yeah.
the final episode on. Oh God, when is it? New
Now
Year's Day.
the only thing is that I'm very far behind on Stranger Things. I dropped off after I think season 2, and I just haven't caught up yet. So I feel like I'm one of the few people in the world who just hasn't a fucking clue what's going on with Stranger Things.
Well, I was the same with Game of Thrones. I no idea about Game of Thrones after season 1 because people kept saying, "Oh, but you have to keep watching it because it gets good when the dragons come in." I says, "Well, then you should have put that in season 1, and then I'd still be here." But Stranger Things, I enjoyed the first two. I didn't think it was amazing. It really captured the 80s, and then season 3 started, and wow, it was like a slap in the face, and I've been addicted ever since. And
Cool.
it's just season 4 is phenomenal. Really, really is. You've never seen cliffhangers and mid-season finales like it.
Awesome.
To the point, somebody actually mentioned this last night when something I was watching. It's the first show in years that people are screaming and shouting at their computer screens or the TV screens, and that was me. I don't scream and shout at things, but in season 4, I literally jumped out of my chair and went, "Run!" That was
Oh my
mental.
god.
It
Awesome.
was awesome.
You have me intrigued. I may catch
Oh,
up
it
sometime soon.
is. Do have a catch up. It's really, really good.
Right, so
But the thing is also good.
The Thing is also good, and Stranger Things, The Thing. There's some connection
Lots
there.
of things.
A lot of
Lots of
things, just
things.
things everywhere.
Things falling out of his hair.
We've things coming out the wazoo.
Yeah.
So this movie was famously panned when it first came out, which is absolutely baffling to me considering just how good it is. As I said in the intro, I would consider this a masterpiece, and I would say it's John Carpenter's best. Everyone might have a different favorite, but I think in terms of just pure quality, I think this is John Carpenter's best. But one of the things I found interesting when I was looking into criticisms of this movie from way back when it first came out is that I can't remember which reviewer said it, but they were criticizing the character work in this, and they were saying that characters were never John Carpenter's strong point. But I think the character work in this movie is one of its strongest points. You have the obvious special effects, which I think can't be praised enough, but I think this is the characters are handled masterfully in this movie, and I think that goes under the radar with a lot of people. I think the characters are really really well done. But now people see this movie for the masterpiece that it is, which is great. But imagine being John Carpenter and having to like listen to all that when it first came out, and possibly think, oh my god, like is my movie shit? I don't actually know what he thought at the time, but I believe it was very damaging to his career when it came out because it was such a big flop. But
Well, they've started production on the thing too.
oh no,
So,
no,
like,
thank you.
yeah, no, thank you. We've already had that prequel crap. I would say it came out the same time as ET, and I remember the ET Fury when it came out. You couldn't pass out a shop window, and I have very clear memories of ET figures in a window in a wee shop back in Uri,
Mm.
and everything was ET. I nearly said Stranger Things. the thing the thing for me was the first movie where the big boys used to tell us, "Oh, it's really scary," and these dogs' heads explode, and you're as a kid, you hadn't even had puberty yet, you were terrified of this movie, The Thing, but you'd never seen it, and because you were going off the stories of the older fellas that had seen it because they get away with it and that had videos, and the rest of it was your imagination until you actually seen it.
Yeah,
So that's my first memory of The Thing,
yeah.
was being terrified of it before I'd even seen it
There you
because
go.
of what the big boy said.
Yeah, there you go.
But I got to see it, and the rest they say is history.
There you go. I think this movie is possibly the best example of practical special effects. I'm struggling to think of something that beats it. I think it still looks fantastic today, and I think some modern movies look significantly worse than this.
Mm,
I think you could release this today, and it's just be like it still look great, and people would really really get into it. I don't like. There's nothing that has aged really poorly or anything like that, which is
no,
one of the strengths of practical effects. If you do them really well, just like we were talking about The Fly, if you do them really well, they just don't age.
no, they don't. I think that's the magic of this one. And you were talking about characters there. This is just something I was thinking about during the week when I was getting ready for this one. Um, you don't actually know anything about the characters at all.
Yes, yes,
And I did McCready as part of my classic heroes series, and when I was doing it, I went, "You don't actually know anything about it. He plays chess on a computer. He loves a whiskey. He flies a helicopter. He wears a sombrero, which Kurt Russell didn't think was going to work,
I
but
heard
George,
about that. Yeah,
yeah, wear it. So, and it's the same lot. Knowles is a chef. One's a doctor. One's a scientist, but you don't know anything personal about them.
yeah, I
So in a way, they're like ciphers or just stand thing, but it's the way that the actors do it
yeah,
that makes you think you know them, and because the writings, and they all have their own skills that are brought out by events as they happen. And you don't even think about, oh, do they have families back home, because the threat is so in your face here and
yeah,
so insidious
yeah.
that
So just
you don't need a background.
yeah, exactly. So like as you said, we don't get much backstory about the characters throughout the movie, but we learn who these people are through their actions. And I think revealing character through actions is sorely missed in a lot of modern movies. There's there's this thing of like just not letting their actions speak for them and revealing who they are through actions, and I think it's masterfully done in this. So
Mm.
yeah, we don't get much backstory, and we just see them reveal who they are as the events unfold. Um, yeah,
Like,
I think it's just all really well done in this because like all the characters do what they should do, like the cause and effect all makes sense, and everything follows a logical path of progression, and nothing needs to be forced to get from A to B. uh, they don't need to cheat to get X result because everything just flows as it should. uh, so I think the character writing's often overlooked when it comes to this movie.
one of them's a stoner, and
Yeah,
if you really want to think about it and go, oh, why is there a stoner in such a a job like that but you don't. It doesn't matter.
Mm,
Do you know what I mean? People do recreational drugs,
yeah.
uh, even in the 80s, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't impact the story. It doesn't impact the interaction they have with other characters, other than to go, oh, is it him? Oh, it
Mm,
couldn't be him because he's stoned, and the alien wouldn't know how to act stoned. It's actually works in a favor because it has that paranoia of who's who
yeah.
and who really is who's hiding as the thing.
It's really fun to try and keep track of who might be the thing or things at
Yeah,
any given moment in time. I think it's really fun to try and just keep track of that.
I didn't get it. I thought it was the guy with the dogs at the start. Remember the
Yeah.
shadow? The dog was in somebody's shadows on the wall. Oh, that's your mom that runs the husky dog thing,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't even bar half. I went, oh, and the chair scene. You sort of go, oh, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? I think
Yeah.
that's the only thing. There's nothing obvious. They don't break character. Do you know why some people do alien possessions and they turn into these weird robotic things, and you just like, oh, that's really bad acting.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys don't change character; they're in the character all the way, even as the thing.
Yeah.
So you don't know, and you can't. And you go, ah,
Yeah.
and you sort of go, I wouldn't like to be there
Yeah.
because
What makes it even more complicated to work out is that someone who might be the thing, they might say something that makes you think, "Oh, okay, they're not the thing if they're suggesting that." But a lot of
yeah,
times that could be a bluff because then the thing is not going to be as suspicious if it suggests potential solutions to problems. So,
yeah,
there's bluffing and double bluffing potentially, and there's one particular example where someone says something and it makes you think, oh, he can't be the thing if he's saying that, but that's not exactly the case. We'll get more into details in the spoiler section, but one thing I want to touch on before we move on is the music, because I really like the music to this movie. I love the opening where it's like this heartbeat. But one thing I wanted to bring up is when I was looking into like the reception of this movie when it first came out, I found out that the music was nominated for a Razzie Award. And anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's nominations for things that are really bad. And I couldn't believe it because,
previous winners including Sandra Bullock.
oh, for what role?
Could be Miss Congeniality, I think,
Yeah.
maybe, or Speed 2. I don't know, I
I
can't
think
remember.
Jack Nicholson was nominated for The Shining.
Was they?
Yeah, I think so. And Danny DeVito for The Penguin. Like it's
Oh,
crazy.
that's classic. That's my favorite version of the Penguin. But it's funny enough, you again, here we go with the links of this weekend before we even knew what we were going to talk about. Really, the thing, one of my reviews for Stranger Things um, mentions that the music for parts of the Stranger Things first couple of episodes, especially, are very reminiscent of John Carpenter's The Fog.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
that the way he has that ability to do those sort of soundtracks where it's
Yeah.
haunting and it's very similar,
Yeah.
but it worked.
Oh, I
It
think
worked.
I think the music is great. I was looking up some criticisms like people had of the music, and I think one thing that like came to mind is that you can't just judge the tracks in isolation. You have to, when you're assessing the music of a movie, you have to assess it within the context of the movie. Uh, I think I think the music on its own is good. I think there's some like really good tracks here, but particularly in the context of the movie, I think the music achieves a lot, and I think it's very well done. So I would certainly not nominate for a Razzie. I think it's
No,
great. Um, One criticism I do have of the movie, there are very few. I think this movie is just very close to perfect, but one of my criticisms is the very opening shot. I would have left out the alien. It's a little bit of a spoiler, right? It's not. It's at the start of the movie, so don't worry too much about this. But the I would have left out the alien spacecraft at the very start of the movie. What do you think?
Predator stole that.
Did
Remember
it?
the opening shot of Predator with a ship coming down? I actually thought the same for Predator. You could actually drop that
Yeah, we actually
opening
brought that
scene.
up in our Predator review. That now one thing I will say is that it's not as big an issue in this one as it is in Predator. I think it's much more damaging to the experience of Predator, because
Yeah,
Predator kind of starts as one sort of movie and then you get subverted and it's another type of movie. And if you just took out the alien spacecraft at the start, I think the movie is much more effective.
yeah.
Here, it's
Dusk to dawn.
say again, sorry.
Like from dusk to dawn, you don't expect
Yeah,
that at all.
yeah, exactly. Imagine at the start of From Dusk Till Dawn, you got some hint about vampires.
Yeah, Dracula, all right, lads. See
They
you
just walk
halfway
by
through.
Dracula, he tips his hat. All right, buds.
Don't forget the titty bar.
The titty twister.
Titty twister.
I have
But
shot
yeah,
glasses with Nicola bought. I think it was Nicola bought them for me. I have shot glasses with the titty twister written on.
awesome.
Yeah. That's a movie I want to cover soon. I think I'm quite fond of that movie. But
I like
yeah,
that movie.
I wouldn't see the alien spacecraft at the start as a major objective flaw or anything, but I think the movie would be just a little better without it. It doesn't
But
really
that,
go
but
for it.
that music. No, sorry, I meant to say just when I was thinking there, that music was used by Quentin Tarantino in, and I've just gone completely blank. No, the one where they're in the snow
The
in the
Hateful Eight,
cabin.
yeah. I believe that there was a few unused tracks from this movie that were used in that movie.
Yeah, and apparently that parallels something to do with the thing. I've watched it and I don't really get it, the parallel thing, but I do know there's a whole scene where they use the thing soundtrack. Um,
Right.
but for the life of me, I can't figure out the connection.
Hmm.
It must be a thematic thing, but I don't know. But it is used. So I mean, for something that was going to be a Razzie, it's like Quentin Tarantino likes it, so the man can't be wrong.
Yeah, as I said, like it achieves its goal within the movie. So
Yeah,
if
I don't.
even if you don't like the music, it is functional within
Yeah,
the
but
movie.
it always put me in mind of it's not a big, super loud action soundtrack like, say, the Avengers Endgame when the
Mm,
final battle and all comes in. It's almost very shark-like. It's under the water. It's swimming there. It's subdued
yeah.
because there is something in this ocean of people
Mm-hmm.
that is the shark.
Yeah.
It is. It's in fact, you're looking at your best friend, and you're going, "Are you still Are you the man that I was friends with? Are you the man I've known for 20 years?" It's that indecision, paranoia. It's like, how well do you really know people?
Yeah. I mean, the sense of paranoia in this movie is just incredible.
Yeah, I'd have went into the snow knocking back. I'd have went, "No, you're all right, boy."
And even there's times where people seem to be unsure if they're the thing, because you would have it in your head, if I was the thing, would I know? You know,
Yeah,
because
because
they
it
haven't a
duplicates
fucking
it
clue
so
about this
well.
creature. Say again?
Yeah, like it duplicates you so well. Its memories included.
Yeah, I'd be like, fuck, have I been assimilated? I like, how do you
Well,
even?
see, I would be. Well, see, you'd know it was me, right? Because, like, as you know, I have one leg.
Yeah,
Um, I'd get assimilated and then have two legs, so I'll be all right. And you go, "I want to think you're an alien." Am I? All right, fine.
I'd be
Two
like,
legs.
look down. You've
Oh,
twice the amount of legs you didn't
I
have
went.
before.
I'd be going, "Is this the Antarctic or Lourdes?" Oh my God, praise Jesus.
Another great thing about the music is they know when not to use it. Like a lot of the big horror scenes in this movie doesn't have any music, which I think was a
Yeah.
really good choice. It's just the diegetic sounds. I think one reason I like it is that, and Jaws was similar as well. It knew when not to use music, but one reason I think it's really effective to do that is that I think sometimes when there's music playing in the scene, you almost just subconsciously know, okay, I'm watching a movie here. Where
Mm,
if you take out the music, you can almost just get lost in the scene a bit more. I feel.
yeah.
I think it's a good skill. I think of knowing when to use music and when not to, and I think this movie just nails it perfectly.
It's like somebody walking down a dark corridor, but no music. No way usually
Yeah,
them films have like this weird violins or trumpets or something playing, or the children singing. But if you take everything out, it's just you and the corridor, the darkness. That's all there is, and that's what you're focused on. You're thinking on what's was a lovely triangle playing in the background. You're focused
Yeah.
on the action, and in the thing, those scenes are of when it emerges are so shocking, especially for the time you'd never seen anything like that before. Um, so you're sort of taken aback by what you're actually looking at, and it's just mental. It is mental. Those
Yeah.
particular toys and figures by McFarlane are some of the most highly sought after and expensive on the planet for the toy collector market.
Oh
And I'm
wow.
so sorry I didn't get them because of
Yeah.
everything they have. Every alien variation you see in the movie is available to buy, but you're gonna pay for them. But they
Awesome.
are gorgeous.
Awesome. Um,
A friend of mine has them, so I was going to go over to his shed. I said, "Can I know the plastic bag and go, oh, look, there's an alien," and then put them in a bag around him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh look. Oh,
But
just point someone. Go. Who goes there? And then they turn their
there,
head.
oh, look, it's ET. Uh, but
um.
it's so good. I think that's why, because it is so shocking.
Yeah.
Even, do you know what? Even I'm sort of thinking about the opening shot with the UFO crashing. I think because this is a remake of the original, I think he probably thought, well, they all know what's going to be an alien in the ice, so that probably is why he put it in. But the first one's as shocking as the original, which I'm going to do an article about in the website. And I've watched it a couple of times now in the last couple of months on BBC iPlayer, and it's a pretty gruesome,
Is it?
but it's all off screen, so you don't
Yeah.
see decapitated bodies hanging like the Predator. You don't see the dogs ripped apart, but it's talked about, and
Yeah.
that's so well done. So looking at that, and it is a masterpiece. The first one as well, I have to say, it's very of its time. You know, with the guys, all the guys together, and the
Yeah.
plucky woman, and all that shit. You've seen all that, but that was the standard pattern for movies like that in those days,
Yeah.
like Monster Monolith, that them Tarantula, um, and this is Carpenter's went. Let's go even further.
Yeah.
Let's see what the alien is and make it different. And the thought process behind that was just amazing.
Yeah. Now
I
some
think that,
some really good horror movies don't reveal their monster till like near the end of the movie, and that can work really well too. But here it's
mm,
like, fuck it, we're gonna show this thing as
yeah,
much as possible in all its hideous glory.
and it's nothing's hidden, and you sort of look and you sort of go, you never once go, oh, that's a puppet.
hmm
It's all go, sweet Jesus, Mary, Holies, and Joseph.
There's scenes
Where'd you
you
think of that
watch
one?
and you're kind of like, because I've never watched the behind the scenes or anything like that, because I'm so fond of this movie, I almost don't want the illusion to be broken. But there's some scenes where I'm like, God, they fucking made that, and it looks hideous. And imagine being on set with some of these things.
Yeah, it's the one I'm thinking. There's actually one indication in the film where somebody is the thing, and you go, oh, he's the thing,
yeah,
and then he is the thing, and
yeah.
it's I don't know how far you want to go on that one
We're
yet.
not.
Are we in the
We'll get
spoiler
into
zone?
that in a bit. We'll go into
Yeah.
spoilers soon. I have a few more non-spoilery notes to get through first. So, this movie highlights the importance of trust among people, and paranoia is a potent weapon. Uh, I just that whole thing of like, when people are starting to distrust each other, and you just can imagine yourself in that situation, and you're just eyeballing everybody, and things just start to fall apart. And I think it's just so great. Um, this movie also has two of my favorite jump scares of all time, because I think they're set up so well that even after the amount of times I've watched this movie, sometimes they'll still get me. We'll get more into exactly what they are soon,
I
but
think I know
you
one.
know the ones I would imagine.
Yeah,
I think
that
they're
is a story about that too.
I think they're just expertly set up, and then the payoff is incredible. Uh,
Yeah,
Also, it's worth noting that this movie has the best dog actor I have ever seen.
that's a one well trained dog.
I was sometimes when I'm watching this movie, I have to remind myself that's just a dog. It's not an animatronic. It's not a man in a suit, and
No,
it just looks like someone who's performing really well. I can
That's,
imagine the doctor. Sorry, not the doctor. The director giving this dog notes, and the dog giving this dog notes on its character and what's happening in the scene and what it wants the dog to achieve, and the dog just nodding and then just giving a great performance.
yeah,
Like,
even its eyes and the way it looks,
yeah, because it
you know
doesn't.
it's something not right.
In a lot of scenes, it doesn't really act like a dog. It's moving very meticulously, and some
Yeah,
of its movements are very minimal, and it's looking around, and it looks like it's assessing the situation, and some of the actions it makes. Like, I think it's just the best dog actor of all time. There, I'm gonna call it now.
Lassie, move over.
Move over,
But
Scooby.
my brother-in-law has huskies, and they are so intelligent.
Right.
They're like you go, Sasha, speak, and it starts, ooh, know all that. And
Yeah.
they're very intelligent dogs.
Yeah.
And I could quite easily see at some point, if we all get killed off, huskies becoming the dominant life form, because they're almost speaking now, and
Mm.
they just know, they're so easily trained, but because they have that inherent intelligence. Golden Labradors are a bit like go sorry, not Labradors. Golden Retrievers are a bit like that, very observant
Right.
of what goes on around them and start mimicking that. And our dog Finn is the perfect example of that. I
Yeah.
don't know where I told you that our Finn had a limp in the first year we had him.
Right.
Um, and talking to the vet, X-rays, blah blah blah. So many visits. £450 later, they
Mm.
discovered the dog was imitating me
No way.
because I got my leg,
That's
no
fascinating.
artificial leg,
That is
and because
fascinating.
I limped slightly, the dog looked at me and started imitating what I was doing,
That
thinking
is
that was normal.
absolutely fascinating.
Not when it's cost me £450. It's not fascinating. I could have killed him. But I can say he's a very intelligent dog. He's a lazy git, like he is like a big kid, and he just lays there. He's like this morning, he's lying on his legs near on the bed. But it was just sort of like, wow, this is our dog, is our family pet. But what's going on in its head as it watches us, it was sort of like it's the same scenario here. The dog's watching everything, even though it's the
Mm.
thing, and it's assimilating all the actions of everybody about it and calculating this thing. The paranoia and all belongs to the human thing, but this all the alien wants is to live and get away.
Yeah.
It's not thinking paranoia. It just wants to survive and get away. So the human paranoia is from us. The alien doesn't even understand that concept.
Yeah.
But the dogs is a very good use of it, mainly for those two examples that I've just given.
Yeah.
Because that dog lives with us, and I didn't realize that. None of us did
That's
until this
fascinating.
vet says
Yeah.
that dog's copying your husband
There you
and his
go.
fake leg.
Genie Mac. That's fascinating.
We
So
should use that as a tagline, shouldn't we?
yeah. So
Alien dog invades one-legged man's home.
yeah. He's planning to take over. Next he'll be writing books and everything.
Wait, he already has taken over the same bio. Let me tell you, like, really, I'm coming back as a golden retriever. Swear to God, he doesn't do dog food or anything. Oh no, what? You give him a tin of dog food, look at you, go, what's that? Where's
No
the
way.
steak?
Do you give him
Swear to
three?
God,
Do you give him like 3-course meals?
that he might as well, because he's that sort of dog.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get like human food, but he'd get steak or he get chicken. It's sort of like he's just a big spoiled child.
Yeah.
But it's this element that we never caught on. That he's sitting watching everything and
Mm. He's
amazing,
he's observing.
and it's very relevant to this movie.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about it,
Yeah. Not realizing that something is maybe more observant than you might
yeah.
realize initially. So before we move on to spoilers, we're going to give our
Woo.
recommendation. I think it's very obvious that I highly recommend this movie. It is probably my favorite horror movie of all time. One of my favorite movies in general of all time, and I highly recommend it. I would class it as a masterpiece. If you haven't seen it, go watch it because we're about to spoil some things.
Yeah,
Uh, I would not recommend the prequel. Just watch this one on its own. Owen, do you
that's another
recommend The Thing?
conversation. What do I what?
Do you recommend this movie?
Oh my God, please. I talked before about Owen's Blu-ray collection.
Mm,
If you're in Owen's Blu-ray collection, you're there's something really good about you. The thing has been in my Blu-ray collection for a long, long time. It is just stunning.
yeah.
It is just stunning.
Just out of
And
curiosity, what do you think of the prequel?
the prequel, when we're talking about
Just
practical
briefly,
effects,
we won't dwell on it too much.
no, but see the prequel screws up the original,
Mm,
and that's the problem. You can see the differences. There is practical effects. There is CGI, which is mostly used for the alien in the prequel. You can see the difference a mile away,
yeah. I
and it
believe
doesn't
that
work.
they had started out with practical and then they were told to put CGI
Yeah,
in there. I believe that's
it
the
was
story, but I don't know
it
for
was
sure.
Two Face. It was the Two Face alien were merged in the thing. It's you know what I'm talking about. The Two
Yeah,
Face
yeah.
alien. That was practical, but the rest of the big donut, all I could think of was the Homer Simpson donuts. When it turns into the other one, it's like,
Yeah,
what the fuck is that? Because it's the same bloody donut every time. It doesn't work. A CGI doesn't work. Pumpkinhead doesn't work as CGI. Werewolves don't work as CGI. Practical effects are not dead and gone because they are the most effective for creating the most bizarre creatures. Pan's Labyrinth as
yeah.
well. My
Now,
God.
I'm not against CGI. I think CGI can be really effective, and there's times where it's very necessary. There's times where I'm glad that in some movies they went with CGI, but I love practical effects, and they just, as I said earlier, when they're done well, they just don't age.
Yeah. Now the prequel does a very good job in mirroring everything when um McCready and the other guy go to the camp, the Norwegian camp, and see what the damage and what's the axe on the wall, the burnt room. It matches all that perfectly, and it's kind of a bit of a thrill to see that because they know they're putting effort in. It's just the execution of the CGI thing
Yeah.
doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Right, here's your spoiler warning, folks. We are going to just spoil stuff from here on out. We're gonna pick a few scenes to talk about and dig into things in a little bit more detail. So, yeah, if you don't want spoiled, go away now. Come back later. So the movie opens with the Norwegian camp chasing this dog, and they're shooting at the dog as it's running away. And if you know nothing about this movie, you'd be like, "What's going on there? Like, what's their issue with the dog? Like, why, why are they so adamant to kill this dog? They shoot at it. Someone tries to throw a grenade at it, and that backfires. It's kind of a scene that makes you laugh a little bit because he puts his hand up to throw the grenade, and it slips out of his hand. Then he struggles to find it, and he ends up blowing up. But in any case, the McCready and his team shoot the Norwegians because they're acting crazy, and they put it down to cabin fever. They think like, okay, they've been isolated for so long, they've just gone nuts. So the dog ends up with McCready and his camp, and then people start getting infected because the dog is the thing,
Mm.
and then no one trusts anyone. Everyone's getting real paranoid. Who is the thing? How can I trust my friend? How can I even trust myself? Am I the thing? It's just paranoia everywhere. The name of the game in this movie is body horror and paranoia. Um, and then the team realized that there's there's no real getting out of this. They just have to prioritize not letting the thing escape, because if the thing gets to a heavily populated area, one of the characters kind of ran a simulation of how fast the thing would take over the world.
Mm.
Was it the world or just the city? I think it was the entire world, right?
I think it was the world.
And it's frighteningly quick.
It
So
was it was Ralph Bramley's character.
Wilford Brimley,
Wilford Brimley. 'Cause I'm sitting here going, what's that man's name? Is out of Cocoon? What
yeah,
was it? Wilford Brimley, yeah. He was great. He's a great actor.
he is. It's always great to see him and stuff. Is it him that decides to just chop up the radio and the
Yeah.
communication
He
equipment because
because he knows exactly what's coming. And because and part usually with in the movie like that you go say McCready, go McCready, this is what's gonna happen, blah blah blah. But he can't even do that now. He's literally on his own and he realizes that.
yeah,
So he can't trust anybody now. So he's gonna look mad, just as the agents look mad at the start of the movie to everybody, but it's not madness. It's they know what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, the prequel ends with the Norwegian chasing the dog. So technically, you could watch the squeakquel, the prequel, and then it goes, and then watch the thing because that it flows right into it. Um, but yeah, no, Wilfred Bromley is the one that figures it out.
Yeah, he's just accepted that this is
It's
more important than any of them. They have to just be willing to lay down their lives and say fuck it. We need to just focus on killing this thing, and we can't really worry too much about self preservation because the stakes are
it's
too
the end of the
high.
world.
Yeah, the
But
world.
then, but then the thing is, the alien, whether they all die or not, somebody has to live because the alien is going to survive either way. It's either going to be deep frozen and then wait till somebody comes in because they're going to come and the bodies and everything else, take them away, and of course it's going to reanimate. It's not dead, we think, because the end's so ambiguous, but we hope it's dead.
Yeah, we'll
After McCready blew the entire camp up and everybody's dead bar him and Childs. So you're hoping that one of them's not the alien,
yeah,
but
we'll
there's no guarantee.
I'm looking forward to hear your thoughts on that at the end because people have many theories about who's the thing at the end, but we will save that for the very end.
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about is at the quite early in the movie, one of the earlier scenes, we see McCready playing a game of chess with the computer, and I love this scene for lots of reasons because there's lots you can draw from this. So, let me just get notes here. So, one of the things you can get from this movie is that this little exchange between McCready and the computer is basically this section is very similar to how the rest of the movie plays out, and I think that's very interesting. So McCready is playing against his chess computer, the chess wizard, and McCready thinks he has the computer beat, but then the computer makes an unforeseen move and ends up winning, and then Mac ends up destroying the game, calls her a cheating bitch. And what I like about that is that's very similar to how the rest of the movie plays out if you consider McCready versus the Thing. And I think that's very interesting. Now there's lots of fan theories I've heard about this scene because there's a bit that is either a continuity error, which I think it most likely is, but then there's also speculation that it's not a continuity error and it's John Carpenter trying to say something in this scene. And it's fascinating because even if it was a continuity error, it ends up saying something very meaningful about the rest of the movie. So I think that's very interesting. So the continuity error is if you look at the chess game in one screenshot versus another, the game of chess looks very, very different, implying that the computer would have had to like fuck about with it to make the pieces be where they are because it couldn't have possibly played out that way. I think it's probably just a continuity error, but we'll go with the assumption for a second that it isn't. So what is that saying? So in that case, Mac believes he's about to beat the computer, and then the computer sort of modifies itself and adapts in a way that just couldn't be predicted, and then Mac ends up destroying the game so that now no one can win. And I think it's interesting what we can draw. I think it's interesting that we can draw something meaningful from both sort of interpretations. What do you think about that scene?
I've never heard of that scene before. Or not that scene. Of that sort of the chess thing. I've never heard of that before.
Really?
Yeah.
It
Um
yeah, it's just I
it,
think it's really interesting that you
it
just take that scene and it's basically the movie in a sense. That's kind of how the movie plays out, and I thought that's really clever. That's really interesting.
could be. That sounds like something that they would do in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Um
So it
I
seems
don't
like
know.
it
I don't
seems like a
know.
scene.
Maybe
Sorry, go for it.
no, maybe it's Carpenter doing a taste of what's to come. Because
Yeah,
you expect, I think because it's Kurt Russell, one of my favorite. I would be his man, bitch. I would be my man, bitch.
He is awesome.
I mean, he's awesome. I mean, I'd be a fan of his when he was doing Lost in Space
Yeah,
years ago. I mean, he did an episode, but I've always followed his career right up to Monarch. Like I say,
and
the monsters,
I think he's in
not
John
that it's great.
Carpenter's two best movies. I think this and Big Trouble in Little China might be his two best.
Escape from New York's good too.
I do like it, but
I
I don't
love
think it's
it,
as good
yeah.
as these two.
And Kurt Russell, where do you hear this? Is involved in a real life alien incident.
No.
There's a famous, very famous UFO incident watched by thousands called the Phoenix Lights. There is a commercial pilot that's mentioned in the reports who also reported seeing it. That commercial pilot was Kurt Russell.
Wow.
And Kurt Russell is, if you look it up on YouTube, he's on camera. He says, this is what we saw. This is what I reported, and nobody wants to know.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it freaky?
That is
That's
freaky.
awesome. So
Yeah.
Kurt's great. I like Kurt and
Oh,
Overboard. Like
he's
that he's ever
fantastic.
done.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's Kurt's real life alien incident.
that's awesome. So I mentioned earlier that this movie has two of my favorite
Mm.
jump scares in a movie. One of them is the defibrillator. That's a hard word to say. Defibrillator.
Defibrillator. It's a hard thing to find in West Belfast because they put them at all the wee shops.
Mm.
You know, like the Spar and stuff, and the wee vandalizing little bastards destroyed them and broke them all. So if you're having a
Oh,
heart attack outside the Spar, you fucking no chance.
oh, Jesus.
Yeah, scumbags. That's what they
Yeah.
are. So
Jesus Christ.
the defibrillators are there. We have one in the house actually.
Yeah.
I haven't had to use it, thank you, for enough troubles. But
I
yeah,
think at my age I need to get one in the house.
yeah, I think you do, son. Like you're staggering a wee bit. Let's face it.
Yeah,
Everything's
yeah.
going right.
So the defibrillator scene is great. So
Yeah,
in both scenes, what I really like about it is that there's a lot of misdirection, and when you're when you're watching these scenes, you're anticipating lots of other things to happen. So you're not really you're not really focusing on the thing that does happen, and
yeah.
you can't really predict. This one's a little hard to predict what's gonna happen. You like
But that's it. You wouldn't have seen this coming.
Yeah, and on top of that, so you don't. It's hard to see coming, and then on top of that, there's lots of other little things that are going on that you're focusing on. Oh, is this guy about to attack this guy? And they're having like an argument about this thing and that thing. So your mind's focused on lots of other things, and then when the the what was the character's name who used the defibrillator? I can't remember.
He's the doctor. How long?
Do you know what
Tell him on yourself. Palmer. Is it
Palmer,
Palmer?
right?
No, it's not Palmer.
Anyway,
Doctor Copper.
Doctor.
Richard Dysart.
There you
Doctor
go.
Copper.
So I love this movie, but I'm always forgetting which characters, which in terms of their
Yeah.
names, like, um, but yeah. So just as he's about to use the defibrillator on the person, Norris,
Norris.
his body opens and his chest is now suddenly a big mouth, and his arms
With
go
big sharp
in.
teeth.
Yeah, and his arms go in, and then they get bitten off by his torso, which is now a big mouth. It looks fucking incredible, and it's a
Yeah.
horrifying scene. And when you're watching it for the first time, you're like, "Holy
What
fuck!"
the fuck was that?
Yeah, it's like that's not what my brain was focusing on happening next. You know?
No. See, Norris was the one we were talking about earlier. I thought, oh, he's the thing because while they're all running about in the middle of this crisis, he suddenly starts having chest pains. And I
Mm,
thought, oh, chest pains are not good. He must be the alien. So a little, but even at that revelation, I was not prepared for how much of the alien he was when
yeah.
his chest opened. Um, and the scene, if you look at the behind the scenes, I know you to watch. I love watching the behind the scenes.
I usually do. It's
Um,
just with this one, I kind of like. I almost
yeah,
don't want to know how they achieved it because I find it just so engrossing.
that's okay because I'm going to tell you anyway.
Go for it.
So the this scene is done behind the scenes as part of the documentary. So when the doctor does the defibrillator, the chest opens, he uses both arms, and then as you remember, he falls back. That's a real amputee. They
Oh, okay.
swapped the doctor for a real amputee.
Oh, okay.
Um, in that scene, and I thought that's awesome. I like me
Mm.
now being a leg amputee. It's interesting
Yeah.
for me to see that.
Yeah.
Um, so it was a real amputee that they used in the switch, and even when I watch it today, I still don't know that it's a different person.
Mm.
It really does look like it's still the actor. Um, that's just cut his arms bit off, and he falls back, and then your attention's gone from it, so you don't get the chance to sort of look at it. Now, if the thing was released today, all that of those things would be on the internet, and you would be spoiling. You'd know everything. That's something I've noticed recently. As soon as the film comes out, people start putting all the
Yeah.
crucial things. I
Yeah.
go, why are you doing that? I haven't even fucking seen the thing yet.
Even
But
some trailers, they basically play out the movie for you.
yeah, like Terminator Genesis
Yeah.
give the big twist of John Connor being
Fucking.
Skynet. Like, what the hell was that about?
I think that just reeked of
Um,
desperation. Like, please come watch
yeah,
this movie.
I think it just shows a lack of confidence in their own product.
Yeah, exactly. A lack of
But
confidence in their own product.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, for this, though, I when I did get to see it, finally, it was the dog's heads exploding that I was waiting to see. But I was there was things much more worse than an exploding dog's head, and this was one of them. And you're just completely taken aback, and then taken aback by the fact the head comes off
Yeah.
and then becomes a spider.
Yeah. The head comes off. Spider legs kind of come out. The
Yeah,
head's
see the
upside
way the
down just to
tongue.
make it even a bit more
Yeah,
freaky, and it's crawling around. But
it's
it's
like,
interesting to notice here as well that one of the characters, again, I keep forgetting their names, even though I love
which
the
one do you reckon?
characters and I love this movie, but I'm just terrible with
But is
names.
that not part of it though? Yeah, you don't know their names, but you remember them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I mean, is that it? Whereas it should be the reverse. You should be going, oh, what was your mom? Oh, I can't remember. But you don't
Yeah.
forget these performances. You don't forget these actors because it's so
Mm,
intense.
exactly. But it's one of the characters points out that the head is walking away, and
Oh, that
I'm pretty sure that the character that points it out is the thing at that point. I believe.
Palmer.
Is it
It's Palmer the
Palmer?
stoner.
And
Palmer the stoner. I think so too.
yeah, and I think he did it as a way of like protecting himself. So
Yeah.
it
And the
shows
line
that
is,
the thing will throw like throw parts of itself under the bus to save itself. It's like
see, that's the thing. Is it, and that's the nature of the thing. You're sort of trying to figure out: is it a single entity or is it a gestat? Is all the individual cells one creature, or is if I'm Palm, if I'm Norris, my body, my chest is a mouth, my head's a spider, my legs are something else. Does that mean there's three different things?
that's I've heard people talk about this, and I'm not sure if there's a real clear answer because the thing is just such a complex creature. Like I've heard people discuss if one person's a thing and they walk into a room and that other person's also a thing, would they know?
Mm.
And I'm not sure what the answer is, to be honest.
But then, is that not better? We don't know the answer, so that you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that speculation.
yeah, I guess so.
Um, because I mean, when Palmer, in order to, Palmer obviously is one of the things at this point, and when he sees the spider head, the line is, "You have to be fucking kidding me," which is such a human thing to say.
Yeah,
So the thing is replicated so well. It's almost like body snatchers. Um, depending on which version, like if you're gonna go for the early two versions, um, how well is it duplicated? They're literally every cell, every memory. Whereas
yeah,
the body snatchers don't have emotion. The thing has the emotions. It has every wheel and turn of you as Stephen and me as Owen. So how do
yeah.
you distinguish that?
Which is horrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrifying.
If I got my leg back, I don't mind. Look, be all right.
Yeah, but you
Get a
wouldn't
wee
be you, though.
bit skip. But are you? Palmer seems to be him until
Here's another thing I
his
heard people
reveal.
speculate on is do they actually know if they're the thing or if the thing is inside you but your
Yeah,
consciousness is
because
separate from its consciousness, and then it can just take over when it wants. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think the thing is just mimicking you. It has your memories. It
But then Norris thinks he's having a heart attack. So it's Norris thinks he's having a heart attack. Palmer doesn't reveal itself until
Oh no,
it's literally
is
into a
it
corner.
that the thing copied over his physical defects as well? It could be
But
that.
then, but the thing can't. Well, see, I don't know. Does it copy defects or does it?
Just say that one more time. You just kind of cut out there.
I'm not sure where it copies your defects or does it give you a brand new super good body. I think in the prequel it gives you a brand new body. So I think that was wrong with you. Isn't there anymore, like an appendix scar or
Yeah,
something?
see, I'm not
But
sure if that's how it works here. I think it
yeah,
might just copy over you, almost almost exactly as you are, and defects and all.
yeah.
You know.
See, that's the problem with the prequel. The prequel messes this all up. So
Hmm.
this perfect bubble movie now has questions on it because of the prequel, because the prequel does raise more questions about the nature of the thing, and it actually cancels out the ending,
Yeah, which we'll get into.
unfortunately,
Also, the
which we get
prequel,
into.
the thing in the prequel isn't as strategically uh,
No,
sound as this one.
it's more like the Simpsons donuts that on two
Mm,
legs, and every time I think of the prequel, that's what I think of.
yeah,
Without being funny, it is the donut with two legs.
yeah,
I go, that's not the thing. But funny, it um copied that scene for remember the recent movie, really recent, Frank. I wish. When the new version of it did a spider head as well.
right. Was that in the TV show?
No, in the movie.
Oh yes,
Uh
yes, yeah, yeah.
I can't remember if it was part one and part two. I think it was part two
I
where
think
they
it
did the
was.
spider head monster
Yeah, I think it was.
with one of the kids. So that's the impact of this movie for that was such a failure. But then Wizard of Oz was a failure.
It's crazy when you yeah, you said that to me. I didn't know that until you said it to me, and
Yeah,
I was absolutely baffled by that, considering the impact of that movie.
yeah, it's just great.
So
But it's just but our hypothesis start time and what else is in the arena when that comes out. I think the best example is Tiger King launched during COVID when everybody was trapped in their houses. So that was really the only thing they had to watch. That's why it became a success. The Thing came out at the same time as ET. Everybody loves ET, phone home, but the Thing is for the ET's for kids, for
mm,
everybody, and everybody, all the adults with kids in their hearts and all that crap.
it seems
But the
like when
thing is,
this
mm,
came out, people just saw it as gratuitous nonsense with no depth.
oh no, it's got a lot of that. But I mean,
Oh, it
that's
does.
over time, and that's where the video market was a big help in those days. Not that you even know what a video is. Most of the listeners, we've talked about the video machine before,
Yeah, we'll have
the
to put a picture
VHS.
of one up on screen sometime, just
Yeah.
so people know.
Do you know why actually? Do you know what I found when I was going through my collection? I still have Return of the Jedi on video.
Oh my god, hold on to that.
Phantom,
Hold on
the
to that
Phantom
one.
Menace, the Phantom Menace,
Wow.
Independence Day, and a Star Trek Deep Space Nine. The very first episode, The Emissary, a special edition video cassette.
It'd be interesting to know how much they'd be worth. Like to
Yeah,
like, is there a mad collector out there who'd look into that?
be
Right. So
awesome.
the other jump scare that I absolutely love because it is expertly set up also is the blood test scene. So
Mm.
what is this scene about? So McCready figures he susses that the when a part of the thing detaches, it becomes its own thing and it has its own survival instinct. So he reckons that if he draws blood from everybody and he burns the blood, that you will see a reaction, like some kind of survival instinct kick in. So I think it's a very clever and interesting way to try and reveal who might be the thing. There is one little criticism here when they are drawn blood, they're not. I think they're not very careful about infecting each other with how they go about it, from what I remember. But perhaps they're just like, fuck it, let's just get this done. I don't know. What do you think? I
Did he
think.
not put rubber gloves on?
But did they use the same needle for everyone or something like that? Am I
I
right? Am I remembering that right?
no, I don't think so. Maybe they did.
I remember there's something in that scene that made me think, okay, they're not being very cautious about affecting each other here, but we shall see.
I need to go back and look at
Yeah, I'll
that. I'm not
rewatch it
sure.
and see. But in any case, it is what it is. You know, maybe they just wanted to get the fuck on with it. And you could put character mistakes like that down to just like the insanity of the situation, and you don't
Mm.
always think things out clearly. Like it, as long as it falls in line with your characters, it's okay.
You're
Uh,
reacting to a situation with what you have, not
mm,
with what you would logically think was there.
mm. But
Because, like, he's heating a wire to try and get a reaction, whereas if it was a lab, it'd be all sorts of magic stuff. But it's almost like hitting two sticks together but get a flame.
yeah, but so they go about doing this blood test, and again, there's lots of other things going on. There's lots of arguments. You're listening to the characters, and
Mm.
the jump happens at just the perfect time when, like, Kurt Russell, I think, is even in the middle of a sentence, and he's not even paying full attention. He just puts it down on. He puts the hot little hot coil or something, isn't it, down
Yeah,
onto the.
because he thinks he knows who the alien is at this point, and then
Yeah,
he's completely pulled out from the rug's pulled out from under him.
yeah,
And that little squeal when the blood jumps out, makes that little squeal as well. It's
yeah,
like
which makes it even more
that's good.
effective. And some of the guys are tied down on the chairs, and then the person who is the thing starts to transform, and they're stuck there. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my god, what a horrifying situation for these guys
yeah.
to be in.
Which is Palmer the stoner, who pointed out the spider head is the actual thing.
Yeah, and
And it's
again,
just
it's great in this scene that they just don't use music; they just let it play out.
yeah, because it's interesting because McCready doesn't thinks it's not Palmer because he is a stoner and because of the way he gets on, and he goes, "Oh, he hasn't really changed. If you're going to be an alien, you'd probably be one of them no fucking weird. Oh, he acts like a robot alien sort of thing." And it's the ordinariness of the characters and the people that make this so effective.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
exactly.
right. You're not over acting. You're not looking at somebody going, "Oh, he's got a tick in the eye he never had before." Nothing's changed. They're all exactly the same. They're all arguing, and then bang, Palmer becomes the thing, and the whole sequence after that just is mental,
Yeah,
mental.
yeah. Even like McCready's trying to use the flamethrower and he can't quite get it to work, and the
Yeah,
scene, everything devolves into chaos, and I just think it's so well done. And
I mean
that,
that when that character gets eaten by Palmer, and it's just that his head's inside his head,
yeah,
and that goes on fire. It's just crazy. And you sort of it is one of them things. You go, I've never seen anything like this before,
yes, yeah. I think
ever.
maybe audiences just weren't ready for the thing back then.
Yeah, but it's just so outrageous. That would probably be the only one where I'd say the practical effect doesn't really work because you know it's a dummy. And do you know
Right.
what I mean? The leg just falling. It doesn't. They don't fall like human legs, but when he's landing in the corner and he's twitching before McCready
Yeah, yeah,
burns him completely, and he was one of the nice guys, the guy that was doing the radio operations.
yeah.
He was a good guy, and he was just an ordinary guy, and that's the tragedy of it. This guy was terrified,
Yes.
terrified, and that's how he ends up. But I mean, that whole sequence then with what do you call your man? Gary,
Yeah.
who's played by Donald Moffat, with those eyebrows. Donald Moffat was actually was almost the Data from Star Trek Next Generation, a character in the TV series for Logan's Run.
Ah.
A character called Rem. He was an android, but he was human. But he also, I always, that's how I always remember them bloody eyebrows. They were like, you could like
Yeah.
scrub floors with them. And I go, comb them eyebrows and trim them back. But yeah, it's his get me out of this fucking chairs or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great.
I think
There's
he's
not
like,
no,
I think he was he, if you don't mind, could you? And then he just loses it. Get me out of this
yeah,
fucking chair.
fucking sure.
It's so good. It's so great.
Yeah,
And like some of the characters do things right, and I think there's a point where McCready's pissed off at Childs, and Childs just goes, "You would have done the same thing," and it's like it's
yeah,
true. He would have. I also like sometimes they know when to use no dialogue, so like. Sometimes the characters just respond with a look, or they respond with just silence, which says a lot in itself.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, there's
But the murder when McCready shoots Clark in the head and it turns out he's human. That's that's a sort of a nice take on this is how far an ordinary man will go in this situation.
yeah,
He will not think twice of putting somebody else down if they can't if this other person can't see how dangerous this is and is quite prepared to get a bullet in the head and he turned out he's human, that's his problem. It's not
yeah.
my problem.
I mean, as the stakes are so high, they can't fuck about with this.
Yeah.
But I think it was an interesting decision to make like your main character make a mistake like that, because I think that's sorely lacking from modern movies is
Yeah.
this whole thing of letting your main character make like bad mistakes like that. Although was it really a mistake given the circumstances? Like, but
No, it was I thought he was going to get battered.
yeah,
And Childs is very quick to jump at, oh, that's murder. You're a murderer. No, Childs, you're still not seeing the bigger picture here.
yeah,
None of you are, except the wee Gary that's just been, or not Gary, the wee guy of the radio who got Fish. No, it's not Fish either. What do you call him? Oh,
we'll look it up later.
Sam,
we'll just
Sammy's
we'll have to because I've seen this
Oh, it
movie
is
so many
Fish.
times and I still forget the names. I'll have to do
Yeah,
like
no, it is Fish. It is Fish.
a little
I mean, he was
studying.
just a wee man
Yeah.
and nice barbecue.
Right, so let's now talk about the ending because there are so many theories about the ending. So
Can I
in
just jump in before we do the ending?
yeah, go for
I
it.
just I just think we'll have to mention the fact when they went to the Norwegian camp, they're looking at the Norwegian footage of the UFO when fighting the UFO. That was the actual footage from the original movie, The Thing from Another World.
No way.
Way,
That is
way. I know
That's
I know these two movies so well.
fascinating.
The first movie is such a scary movie for its time,
Yeah,
and yet you don't see one ounce of blood, not one. But
that's great.
it's the words and the
It's
performances.
great when you
So I
can
just thought
achieve
that put
that.
that in. Yeah, which is a nice homage. John McCartney's acknowledging the original material, the impact it had on him. So that's what that is. That's the cast, the original cast, doing the circle of figuring out how big the UFO is before they put the bombs in to blow it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to the ending.
On to the ending. So in the end, the two survivors are the thing was trying to build a spaceship to escape, and they managed to stop it, thankfully. And in the end, it's just Childs and McCready left, and they're both paranoid that the other is the thing. And there are, I think, three main theories with this one, and it'd be interesting to see what you think if all three work. So, the obvious is McCready's the thing, or Childs is the thing, is the second option. Third option is they're both the thing and they don't know. So that would kind of answer the question of, does the thing know when someone else is the thing? That would answer that if that's the case. But what?
Or the fourth. Neither of them are the thing.
Or exactly, yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, I should have said four for sure because that's very likely also, and that really
So I thought that's what I'm here for.
I I like. I mean that all three, or sorry, all four are effective. So if we consider that neither of them are the thing and they're both standoffish with each other, I think that just works so well given the whole theme of the movie and this whole thing of distrust and paranoia and not knowing who to trust and I like that. I'm trying to figure out which one I like the most. What way do you read
Well,
this scene, and do you think there's any hints that are particularly strong?
well, if you look at the that what you just said, it's about they're both standoffish because they're both human. That would tie in with what's happened before because they're not really best of friends. And usually by the end of a movie like this, their bond is so good and they're suddenly best buddies and everything's going to be happy ever after. I get a couple of beers on the way
Yeah.
home and a burger. It doesn't work here, so that's keeping it real.
They also
I have
set
heard.
at sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
They also set McCready up as being a bit of a lone wolf.
Yeah,
So he's not really as maybe friendly or attached to these people as some of the others were with each other.
yeah. There's no teamwork. They are an all male team, but they're not a team because even the when Gary and the doctor were arguing over who has the keys for the blood bank that was sabotaged, there's only two possibilities for that, and yet they're supposed to be old colleagues that have known each other for 20 years, and they turn on each other like that. There's a
Yeah.
there's a beautiful episode of I think it's the Twilight Zone. The monsters are on Maple Street where they think there's aliens are coming and the neighborhood are all over each other and they turn on each other.
Mm.
That's kind of what this is. Um, the everything that we have is lovely and your best buddies and you buy Christmas presents until the shit hits the fan, and your best friend will put a pickaxe in the back of your head to make sure that him and his family survive.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like it's a commentary on us. Are we really when we say we're best friends and we do anything to her? Would you
It
really when the chips are down?
it also goes to show the power of paranoia
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how it just kills your mind.
I mean, you've also got the breath thing. So one of them is breath is shown. I think that was
That was one thing I was thinking of
McCready,
there
is it?
is like um I think it was last time I watched it I noticed it. I don't know if I'd noticed it before. But yeah, McCready's breath is shown but Childs' isn't. Now
It's not.
there's
So that's what they're saying.
this is
Childs
what
is
it gets complicated because just like the computer scene we were talking about earlier, is that just some sort of error on the movie making
no,
part or is that
no.
intentional? Now,
That was intentional.
because there's so many like meticulous details in this movie, I'm very inclined to believe that the movie, whatever the movie does, is done on purpose. Maybe just with a few exceptions, you have to allow that a movie has made a few mistakes here and there in terms of like little bits of continuity and that kind of thing. But I think it sticks out so much, like when you notice it, that you kind of think, well, that's got to be intentional, right? That's got to be an intentional clue.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah.
And then
Carpenter's talking about, but he says that the clues are there for you to know. Kurt Russell to this day does not know which was which,
yeah,
and
I
that's a good thing in a way. I think.
for me, my ideal kind of finale to this is you don't know
No,
because it ties into that whole theme of paranoia. I like the fact that we can't know for sure, so I'm kind of hoping that like there is no clear cut answer ever kind of given, but
no. As far as I know,
yeah.
well, Carpenter says no, there won't be, and if Kurt Russell doesn't know,
Yeah, but
Kurt Russell
then, as
doesn't
you
know.
say, the breath thing, like, how do you expect? Then,
But then everybody's different bodies.
hmm,
Do you know what I mean? So just because Child or McCready's been sitting in the cold waiting, Childs has just walked up. So maybe it takes him, the cold hasn't hit him yet, sort of thing. Or maybe he's just not one of them people.
yeah,
I know people that love the cold, whereas I'm sitting with four blankets around me and a big fire going. No, I can't. I hate the cold. Um, I think it was deliberate as part of the ambiguity, but it's which is which does being it also brings in how well does it replicate and then you want to build a spaceship. What for? Where was it going? So was it going back into space? Because it's not obviously doesn't want to take over the planet. It's just using whatever's there to further its own advances, which could be
I mean,
like
was it maybe going to go to a populated area and try and take over? Like, I don't know for sure, or was it just
But that's
gonna
the thing. But that's the
feck
good
off back
thing
up to
because
space?
yeah, but that's the good thing because it's encouraging those debates and sort of theories. Go, oh, was it? Would I build a spaceship just to go to a warmer part of the country? No, I built a spaceship to go back into space. So it's and because it's almost like the Boba Fett syndrome. You don't well, the old Boba Fett syndrome where you knew nothing about this character. You had like and that was it. But you were fine because all these theories started going. This is the same. So one of the theories is, did McCready give Childs some paraffin to
Yeah,
drink out of the bottle
I've heard that one. Yeah.
just to see? But it's well, what? Well, I think that's a silly one because it would be like, well, what was he drinking? He didn't have two bottles of whiskey just sitting about. Um, so you don't. I like the fact you don't know,
There
even though
is
I hate that
there is this
because I'm.
there is this thing like when McCready sees Childs take the drink, he kind of laughs, and
Mhm.
is that indicating something?
That's probably indicating, oh, he's human too. Imagine out of everybody that I actually was with here, the person I liked the least
Hmm.
is the one I'm left sitting with.
Yeah, because some people have theorized
Could
that
be.
he did give him something funky to drink, and
Yeah,
he laughed because like, okay, you're a thing. But that's one theory. There are lots.
yeah, but that's a good thing.
Yeah,
That's a good thing
I mean,
because
yeah,
if
go for it.
even if say Childs was the thing and McCready's human, all they're going to do is freeze to death. The thing it knows itself, it's ultimately going to get picked up. Somebody's going to come looking. This is now the second camp. The Norwegian authorities will probably go to the other one, and the American authorities will go to this one. So it's going to be taken out and rescued, and it'll continue its agenda. It's only been temporarily stopped with this.
Hmm.
So either way, the alien wins if Childs is the alien. But thankfully, there was no sequel. Unfortunately, they're doing something either thing too. But there was a comic book series by Dark Horse. Do you know about that one?
No.
Okay, so the Thing story actually continued, and the Thing from Another World comics, what that's what they call it, the Thing from Another World, which is the original title for the black and white one.
Yeah, I believe the
Are
book was called Who Goes There, right?
Yeah, that's right. And these are some of the most highly sought over comics in the planet. I thankfully have them, and they're awesome.
Do they
They're
give
beautiful
away
covers.
any answers?
Yeah.
Don't
So
don't say them
Childs,
here because I don't want to know.
well, you can't audience. Stephen, cover yours, and I'll tell the
Oh,
audience.
go on then. Fuck it. I mean, I don't need to see it as actual canon.
So McCready actually wakes up, and the American squad comes in to rescue them, as we predicted. Um, you do the first book, the first four issues or something. Then you have the series called Climate of Fear. Climate of Fear, and it turns out Childs was the alien all along.
Right.
And in
Okay.
in a very scary scene, Childs is now in charge of a squad of soldiers. McCready meets him, and they're in this like a barracks thing or a building, and they all start changing in front of McCready, and he's all on his own.
Oh Jesus.
And it's just mental. So you've also got Eternal Vows, which was the last series, and it actually ends with the alien doesn't want to take over the world. In this one, for some reason, it's almost like a love story. Um, but it ends with McCready unconscious on a beach at the mercy of a thing, and you don't know what happens because they never continued the story. But
Right.
they're a cracking set of comics, and in some way do go to answer the age-old question. And I think it's pretty pedestrian if you just go, "Oh, it was Childs." No, I think you should have went another direction, but been a bit more imaginative
Yeah. My
than
I
that.
think like thinking about it now, I think my favorite version of the ending would be that neither of them are the thing, but they're
Yeah,
so paranoid about each other that they just are, keeping their distance from each other. I really like that as an
and
ending.
that's why there will never be peace on earth between nations because all the big nations are paranoid of who's got what weapon, who's developing this technology, and that's the human nature. Whereas the alien doesn't have any of that. Its presence sparks all that, and it just shows out the worst of humanity.
Yeah.
Even though they're doing it for good intentions to save the planet, it just brings we do it through the worst of ourselves.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's an absolute masterpiece. go watch it. If you still haven't been convinced to watch it, then I don't know what to tell you. It's freaking awesome.
It is. Bar one bit.
Oh yes, you have one issue with something.
I have one issue. So the cook's called Knowles. And Knowles is he runs about in roller skates. He's the cook and he's cheeky, he's funny. He's a great actor at the time. T.K. Carter was in loads and loads of stuff. He's the only one that you do not see an on-screen death for, and that always pissed me off.
Right.
Especially because it comes near literally the end of the film. We've been through all this stuff and all this tragedy and emotional guessing because we are as paranoid as the characters because we don't know who's who.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure it out as an audience. So for Knowles not to get a death scene is pretty shitty for me. It almost feels like they're trying to rush it, as if we're so near the end. Let's get to the end because jumping off to a death scene would only sort of slow it down. Now, if you go onto YouTube, there was a scene on the storyboards of Knowles being killed. So there's actually two. One, obviously assimilated by the alien, and he's the last thing that McCready sees before he blows up the spaceship, and he's begging McCready to kill him. The other one is that he breaks his leg, is about to be assimilated by the alien, but he stabs himself in the throat, so he's dead. So he's no good to the alien, which is another interesting aspect. Can it only use living tissue to replicate?
Mm.
To the nature. So I just think that's the one thing. If we've been through all the characters, everybody's had a death scene except Knowles, who, quite frankly, was the most lively, funny character. Palmer was funny, but it's because it was stoned. Knowles has a great love for life. He loves cooking. He loves his music. He loves his roller skates. Who's putting your dirty drawers in my trash can? There was a life about him.
Yeah.
And for that to just be sort of sidelined,
Yeah.
I thought was a bit shitty. I
Okay.
don't think there are any special editions where that scene. I don't think the scene was filmed, but there's none that really answers that question. That'd be the only thing. Aside from that, it is the most awesome movie. 100% favorite. There's a game, a thing game, and you can actually see Knowles' body in one of the scenes. When you're going through the base as a soldier,
Is that the
Knowles'
PlayStation
body.
game?
Yeah, the PlayStation. I couldn't think of the name. I was thinking Xbox, but I knew it
Yeah,
wasn't
I
Xbox.
remember playing that. I remember being quite fond of
Yeah,
it.
so did I. Yeah, it's the snowy thing, and you're going across the snow.
Yeah.
But Knowles' body is seen in the game, and
Ah.
God bless him, he's a bit of a mess because his head twisted around, his back's broken stuff. But I thought that would be my only criticism. The rest of it is just pure brilliance because the X Files also tried to copy it in another very good episode called Ice, where they were also infected by this like alien worm.
Yeah.
Um, it's just, but that's the legacy of a film that was a supposed flop that's influenced the likes of it. It's influenced the likes of X Files to do this sort of thing because that is the impact it's had on our
Yeah,
culture, and it's iconic.
it's
It's iconic.
fascinating how much a perspective can change on a film because
Mm.
it was so panned, it was a flop, and now it's seen as a masterpiece and it's got such a strong fan base. And it is amazing. Go watch The Thing.
Yeah,
Probably my favorite horror movie of all time. One of my favorite horror movies ever. Or sorry, one of my favorite movies just in general ever.
yeah.
Yeah, go watch it.
So
It's amazing. The Thing.
Uh,
Boom,
and if
done.
any of our lovely listeners would like to donate any of the thing figures to our collection,
If you have any
please
thing
do.
figures, send them to Owen
I
Quinn.
promise you they will have a lovely home. I promise.
There you go. So if you enjoyed this, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you want more videos like this. If you want to join my Patreon, there'll be a link in the description. And Owen, where can people find you?
Instagram is Time Warriors Author, Twitter is Irish Author, and Time Warriors website, Time Warriors and Beyond, www.thetimewarriors.co.uk. Oh, here, did I tell you I interviewed John Carpenter?
You did. You told me that. Yeah.
Did I?
You said
I tell everybody
you
that?
you weren't too fond of
No,
that
no.
experience.
No, it was a terrible experience. He wanted the questions cut down from 20 to 10, and then all I got back was literally yes and no answers. So I was extremely disappointed after being extremely excited that he'd said yes.
Yeah. I
But
don't know. You must have rubbed
oh
them up
well.
the wrong way, Owen. I mean, you
No,
know,
it didn't
you.
ask 3 questions. Do you know what I mean? Don't agree to interviews, you don't want to answer questions. I mean, don't go to conventions. You can't talk. I mean, we sit and talk about this stuff, and even off or we always talk about stuff, and I talk about stuff with my friends. But if you're in that position where you know you're a bit of an icon to people, and they're genuinely interested, I'm not asking you for an interview for just status or whatever. I'm genuinely interested. I love your fog. I love Halloween. I want to know that they live skip from here. I want to know what goes on and how you I mean you're literally a self-published movie director, and I know that's the wrong term because
Yeah.
he made Halloween with no money.
Mm,
Everybody's like, as I keep saying, we should call. I always call my company the Skin Company because I don't have any money
yeah.
to create the books, but I'm publishing anyway
His
on very little.
his
That's what
filmography
you're doing.
is incredible, and we will definitely
Yeah,
cover a lot more John Carpenter movies down the line.
but he
It,
made them with no money, especially Halloween, and that's what it
mm,
was.
yeah,
So I like that, but I just sort of went, oh, I'm really disappointed in that.
maybe he was just having a bad time, a bad day,
Well,
maybe. Who knows?
Well, if he comes knocking my door and he says, "Do you want his own? Do you want to do an interview?" I've got, John, I can't. I'm traumatized from the first one. Sorry,
Oh, and you know what you're like. You rub people up the wrong way.
I do not. I well probably do. You know, I just tell you it is, but I mean, I don't see how you can rub somebody say, "Mr. Carpenter, do you mind if I send you some questions for an interview?"
Yeah, John Carpenter, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry Owen hassled you so much, and we'll try and
John, I'm sorry. I'm John. John, come back to me and we'll do it. Come and talk to us to see if you even having to write anything down. There you go.
yeah.
You're an
We are
open invite,
definitely
John
going to
Carpenter.
cover more John Carpenter movies
Yeah.
very soon. Maybe we'll do a poll
Ghost of
on
Mars.
maybe
Ghost of Mars.
maybe we'll do I might do a poll on the Patreon of John Carpenter films and see what people pick. All right,
Yeah.
everyone, thanks again for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that bullshit. We will be back again soon. Goodbye.